Good evening. This is Jeremy Williams, Superintendent in the Gainesville City School System. And I just want to say thank you to our employees, to our students, to our families for working with us over the last couple of months as we developed plans, implemented those plans, celebrated open house, and it was great to see a lot of you face to face, but also started with remote instruction. When we looked at coming back to school, we shared with you some of the data that we were reviewing. I want to give you an update on that, but also our return to school plans as well. We continue to look at the NGHS data and the positivity rate. We're seeing that data continue to decrease. We're also seeing the cases per 100,000 in Gainesville and Hall County continue to decrease. We also, as we look at the DPH data, see that the trends downward as far as where we were back in May and June, we're getting closer to that point. So we are excited to announce that we are returning to school the week of September the 7th. One thing that was our intent from the beginning was to take open house, remote instruction, and checkpoint week, which is next week, to really hit the ground running and being able to start the year off right, that when we return face to face, we're not in that 2 to 3 week phase of having to learn everything new for the first time. Relationships should have been established. We've set the expectations. We've identified the learning gaps, and now it's time to ensure that we are continuing to educate regardless of the environment and what it looks like. So we're excited to see you. We realize that as you return, there are going to be various levels of anxieties, both in our students and in our staff as well. But we also are very confident that if we follow the guidelines that we put into place, we're going to minimize the spread of COVID as best we can. You are seeing school districts that are reacting across our area and across the state. And to be honest, we're not going to be immune to that. We have to be very realistic that we will have cases, but we also have to be very realistic that how we treat those cases dictates how we respond as a community and as a school. One thing that we cannot lose sight of in all of this is we have to educate and we have to serve. We have to continue to inspire, nurture, challenge, and prepare our kids. When you go to our website and you click on 3 different documents, one would be the return to face-to-face instruction stage 1, which is this document I'll share with you. You will also see the daily screening list that we're going to ask you to complete at home with your family every day, which we'll go over in just a moment, as well as the face-to-face phase-in framework, which is also included in this document as well. As you return to school, remember, continue to socially distance, continue to wear your masks. We will have some disposable ones available. We do expect you to have a mask with you at all times. So we're excited to phase you back into school. We felt like in the best interest of our students and the safety of our families as well, bringing everybody back on Tuesday, September the 8th would not be wise. So we are doing a 2-step phase-in framework. The first one involves Tuesday and Wednesday and which students are coming on that day. You can see on the chart in front of you for face-to-face instruction, any of our self-contained students, our pre-K through 2nd grade students, 6th grade, as well as 9th and 10th grade students will all be returning face-to-face. The remaining students, 3rd grade through 5th, 7th and 8th, and 11th and 12th will continue with remote instruction for those 2 days. Then on Thursday, everyone will be back in the buildings face-to-face with all of our schedules in place, services in place. Looking forward to seeing you definitely on that Thursday, September the 10th. As you also look at some of the quick notes, we will continue to serve meals on that Tuesday and Wednesday for students that are in remote instruction. So we're excited to be back. We're excited to see you on either the 8th or the 10th, but also we want everybody to kind of be aware that if we have to remove to remote instruction because of cases, everything will continue to follow the live meeting schedule that we've set up over the last week and a half that's been followed. We don't want you to have to learn a whole new routine if we have to close out. There'll be a little bit of a tweak, but overall we want the schedule to remain the same. In this document, you will see 3 other sections that go along with it. One is utilizing protocols, preventative practices, and case investigation. So under utilizing protocols, as you enter each of our buildings, you will see a new home screening checklist that we're asking you to go through with your family every day. You, of course, would not be turning this in, but we want you to ensure that you're revisiting that every day. The most important part in all of this, if we're going to be successful in our steps as a school system, is that if you have any of these symptoms or you've had close contact or potential exposure, stay home. If you're a student or family member, please report your absence to the school. If you're a Gainesville City School employee, please report your absence to the supervisor. The one big change that is on here, and this is the most recent update from the CDC, is that third checkbox down that talks about a new uncontrolled cough. Now, I have allergies, many of you do as well, and there's going to be some sneezes, there's going to be some coughs, but if it's a new uncontrolled cough, then we need to be aware of it. Otherwise, you may not have the symptoms. We don't want to overreact, but we also don't want to underreact. And if you've had any exposure of someone who's tested positive, please do not come to school. Let us know if you've had that interaction that's within 6 feet for 15 minutes or longer. Please do not come to school. All you're doing is put others in danger of spreading COVID, and we want to stay away from that as much as we can. The next section is preventative practices in school, and I'm not going to read these to you. I'll let you go to the website and download these either in English or Spanish. But the biggest part here we want everybody to understand is wear your mask, social distance where you can. We're going to do our best to keep students in cohorts. That means either in a homeroom or a team throughout the course of the day. It's trickier and more difficult, of course, at the high school level, but there is a good bit of distance between the teacher and the classroom environment, especially at middle school and high school, for that separation where we're not able to cohort as well as we are maybe at the elementary level. We are not going to be using our lunchrooms at the beginning of school. We're not going to be using our playgrounds at the beginning of school. We felt like that as we open school, we want to be as safe as possible. We can always open that up. You'll also notice some information regarding the buses. There will be hand sanitizer as you get on and off the bus. There will be hand sanitizer as you go into the buildings, throughout the buildings, but also in the classrooms as well. Let's continue to practice proper hygiene techniques throughout this entire process that we know is just going to be a new norm for us. If you haven't already adjusted your lifestyle, you're a little late, but we encourage you to catch up with us as quick as you can. Also, when it comes to gatherings, we have had a handful of athletic competitions in the gym at GHS, and we have some this week as well at GMS. We look forward to continuing to expand those, but keep in mind this is all tentative as you read this, and we may have to limit participation in indoors or outdoors based on the crowd. The last item on here after preventative practices is the guidance on when an employee or student may return to school, and this is our case investigation that goes along here. The biggest thing we want you to grasp, if you're listening to this, is not to know all of these steps, but to know whether or not when you can come back to school. So you see the different scenarios. We'll be communicating that to you as a parent. If your child has tested positive, please let us know. If your child has been in contact with someone at school who has tested positive, we will be in contact with you about the next steps as far as what to do, but also when to return. That goes for students, and it also goes for employees. We are keeping a database of the number of cases that we've had in the district and when they should return back to school. We will be making some of that available to the public in the future, but we will not be doing it really until we start back to school because right now the cases are so low that it would be possibly identifying individual employees, which we would want to stay away from. So as you go through these documents, just keep in mind that in order to return safely to school, it's going to be a team effort. We say One Gainesville, and we say inspire, nurture, challenge, and prepare, but the reality is we have to buy into that and we have to care about each other as we go into the school year. Wear your mask, socially distance, practice in our professional and school life what we should be doing also in our personal lives as well. And above anything else, communicate, communicate, communicate. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you on September 8th or September 10th. And go Big Red.